Hey, friends and neighbors. You've tuned in to Short Takes once again, I hope. We are a short talk show produced by the Alabama Take. I'm the host. My name's Blaine Duncan. If you're in Alabama, around Alabama, have friends in Alabama, you've seen and laughed at this next gentleman's videos quite a lot. That's the truth. He is from It's a Southern Thing, but he has his own TikTok, his own Instagram. You've seen him around. He is Matt Mitchell is joining me today.
Howdy. Thank you for having me on, Blaine. I'm excited. Have some hot Alabama takes with you.
Let's do that. What's your hottest? So far, you gonna come in just hot, or you warm up usually?
Well, this is Alabama, so naturally I'm hot for about 10 months out of the year. Right now, unbearably hot currently. Yeah, my hot take is just Alabama is too daggum hot right now. That's not. It's kind of a cold take, actually, when you think about it.
It's not controversial.
Yeah, that played out a little bit.
That's one of your motifs, of course, in your videos is Alabama-based, Southern-based things, and I relate to them so much. But I'll tell you when I really relate to them as a Southern guy is when you get a lot of Little Debbie endorsement, or Little Debbie loves you and you love her, right?
Yeah, there's definitely some love there. Maybe more one-sided. She does not love my blood sugar. I know that. She seems to have a vendetta against it. Yeah, me and Little Debbie go way back. We've had a long history. Been going steady for quite a while. It's not so much an endorsement. That's the one thing. They're like, man, how much does Little Debbie pay you to talk about their snacks? I have never received a dime from Little Debbie. They just send me snacks. And then hope that I will review them. And they usually do taste pretty good. But one thing a lot of people don't know is that my parents are distributors for Little Debbie over here in Walker County. So, I mean, there's a family connection. So I do know when a lot of things are coming before other people and get to try them that way. Debbie doesn't pay me anything. I just enjoy her work. I'm a big fan of her baking skills. So
Do you have a hands down favorite? Can you?
We did a Bless Your Rank recently, but we did it on the top 6 best selling, at least in this region of Alabama, and Swiss cake rolls won. But you could catch me on a month later, and I might say oatmeal cream pie. Mm-hmm. One thing that's not in that top 6 that's my favorite are the pecan spin wheels. Mm-hmm. And that's controversial because a lot of people don't like them for some reason. I think they're delicious. They're individually wrapped. They're tiny. Man, that's a great breakfast. Get those at the gas station. They come in a 2-pack right there. I mean, it's not healthy, but nor does it fill you up until lunch. But it's a good way to start your morning.
The Nutty Bars, I think, can't be beat.
They're good, but to me, that chocolate seems to melt faster. Like, if you touch that Nutty Bar, like, you've got to, like, just hold it just right with the wrapper over it. Because if your finger touches it, at least my big old sweaty fingers, chocolate's coming right off immediately. So, there's a certain way you got to eat them.
Another Alabama downfall there.
Yeah.
Just too hot to eat the Nutty Bars on some days.
I tell you what, it is a struggle every day down here. But we find a way. Somehow we persevere.
Let's back up to when you got started. We'll cover a little of that stuff. You was the creation of the ostrich, is that right? The Daily Mountain, all that.
Oh yeah, the good old days. Yeah, it goes way back. It's been 10 years this year since kind of started that whole thing, which was originally just a parody of the local newspaper here in Walker County, the Daily Mountain Eagle. It started as a joke between me and a friend and my wife, and then it grew into something a lot bigger over the years, which led to like a freelance writing job with AL.com, and then a full-time job when they started It's a Southern Thing, and that's where I've been since 2017. And it was basically just like The Onion, but for small-town Alabama, very specifically just these few small towns in Alabama. But the greatest thing was back in the day when people were like, I don't never even been to Walker County, but I relate to all of this. So I think that was kind of my first, like, eye-opening experience of, like, there's something here in this relatable Southern humor. And, of course, it's been done before. I mean, people have been doing it for years and years. I think that's when I found, like, this is I'm good at this. I need to stay in this stream right here. So that's kind of what I doubled down on and haven't been doing ever since.
I was raised in Sulligent, Alabama.
Yeah. You
But
can relate.
that small town humor is it's universal though, just like you said. And I had some friends from Walker County who thought that the parody account was just riotous. They would just laugh and share and talk about it. They loved it.
Good.
And how did AL.com kind of rope you into?
Several people from the paper were following the account, after it got started and kind of grew an audience outside of Walker County. I had a conversation with John Archibald back, I think about like 2-3 or so years after kind of getting it started, and he wanted to just write an article on me. I know he wanted to like tell the world who I was because I was anonymous doing this account for most of the time. Nobody knew it was me.
That's right.
And John wanted to do that, but I told him I'm not comfortable. I don't want people to know who I am yet. And I thought it was going to be a little fluff piece. And it really, it was lighthearted and fun. But then John really was trying to get out of me like who I am. And I was just, kind of like, no, I can't. I really do not want to say.
So how come? Why were you slow to reveal?
I don't know. For part of me just did not want it to be about me. Like I just wanted it to be, because it's like when you read The Onion, you don't know who wrote what article. Like it just stands on its own. I didn't want it to come back and be about me. Also, for that entire time of before I started working at It's a Southern Thing, I was full-time at the Department of Human Resources in Walker County. I was a social service caseworker. So I'm doing all this work with the community, and I didn't want it to come that this person that had this account and was doing all this stuff and making jokes was also, this social worker who's trying to gain the trust of, all of these people. I mean, nothing that I was doing was malicious towards, any of those people, but I just didn't want to like mix those worlds at all together. And also, there's just a lot of people out there who just want to badmouth social workers and DHR and don't understand that the job that they do. And I didn't want to give them any ammunition whatsoever.
Yeah.
I just tried to keep those two worlds as separate as possible. There was that about a year and a half where I was writing for AL.com. I told people it was me, so that it was out there that this is Matt Mitchell, and he's, you could do some homework and figure out, what my full-time job was. And it never became a problem. I was told just once, and not officially, don't make fun of the governor so much. That is your boss's boss's boss. But
interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, I'll consider that. But I did not, because there's been no shortage of material from the governors in this state.
Yeah, exactly.
In my lifetime, at least.
True. That's true, and beyond. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it will not end. So
do you miss the anonymity?
A little bit. Maybe there's a little bit more freedom. I mean, it's not like I was doing anything like, like I said, malicious or anything that, they can't come back to me. But there was just something fun about, like, it just stood on its own a little bit. But now, it's different. But it's not bad. It's just different.
Yeah. Was anyone close to guessing, even long before?
Oh, yeah. No, it got weird. There would be people that I would meet through work or wherever, and that's the first thing they'd say to me is like, hey, man, I love your work. And I would play dumb. And they're like, no, I love the Daily Mountain Eagle, the Twitter you've got going. It's hilarious stuff. And I usually just freeze up because I wouldn't know what to say. I would just deny it. Like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Walker County is not a really, really small place, but it's still small enough to where news could travel and people would find out. So it was weird when people would approach me about it. I would try my best to deny.
Yeah. And from there, you joined on with AL.com. Did you help start It's a Southern Thing? Did you have a hand in that?
Not in the creation of it. They had just got it going. They started with This is Alabama. I want to say, maybe about a year before that. I'm not exactly sure when, but it was roughly about a year before It's Something started. And they were having a lot of success in video content that related to all of the South and not just specifically Alabamians. So then they realized, there's an opportunity here to reach a larger audience if we create this other brand for the South. So that whole creation process and all that started right before I got there. I was talking with them about a full-time position right before they launched it. So I think the brand launched in August, and I joined the team in the middle of September. So I was just a few weeks behind there.
Yeah. Did you know Matt Patton by chance? Did you know him? He's a Walker County resident, Jasper guy. He's a bass player for the Drive-By Truckers now.
Oh, I have not met him, but I know of him. Yes.
But do you know Josh Hamilton? Don't you? Do you work with Josh?
I do know Josh.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
I work with Josh, and he's a good buddy of mine, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So those were Tuscaloosa guys back in the day, and I knew both of them well. I still know them well. So hello to Josh. We'll leave that in for you, Josh. I won't edit that out. And you have to be busy though. As many videos as I see, and as many things I see you tweet out. Does your mind ever turn off? Does it ever stop? Say like, I'm going to stop looking at the world in a funny way.
I try to turn it off. I try to find things that just like I can completely zone in on this one thing. Strange thing to people probably not peg me for this. Right now it's Animal Crossing, the video game, that I picked up randomly during the pandemic and then have picked it back up the last few months. And I'm like, this works for me because for some reason I'm completely sucked into this game when I'm playing it. And I just want to talk to these little critters that live on my island. That's it. It's weird. And all my daughter, who's about to turn 4, loves it too. She'll just like, just tell me I want to play, but she'll just watch me and she'll tell me to run around and talk to whoever and catch that bug. And I'm like, all right, cool, I can do that. So
I might have to do that. My daughter's 4, so she
loves it, eats it up. So yeah, that's I try to find things like that at the end of the day that I could just kind of zone out and do that. But it is a full-time job. Was actually. This is kind of a scoop for you here. We're in the process of doing this now. I have kind of transitioning a little bit away from It's a Southern Thing. I'll probably still do some things with them, but just to focus more on some more personal stuff because that does eat a lot of my time, and I don't like to push myself like to the point of exhaustion when you're doing comedy stuff. It's not going to be good. I think it comes off that you're tired and you're maybe trying too hard to get something out. So going to be working on some of my stuff on my pages, but I'll still be trying to do some stuff with It's a Southern Thing moving forward. Just probably be a little less of me on that channel.
Well, it's all great. It's all funny. Even this is not really supposed to be funny, but last night you dealt with a power outage at home, weren't you?
Yeah.
Weren't you were kind of documenting it, and some people were like, "Go to a hotel," and you're like, "Dude, I'm not going to a hotel."
Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, congrats to the people who have that kind of money that can just be like, I guess we'll go to a hotel tonight.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what hotel they're staying at, but I can't find one that's less than, that you want to stay in, that's less than like $150, $200 now. But also, I don't live near a hotel. I'd have to like pack up and go to like closer to Birmingham or some of the places up on the interstate in Jasper, one of them fancy new places that are probably way too expensive. But I showed them my most local option, which is the Walker County landmark known as the Warrior River Motel, that I do not want to stay in. Although, very close proximity to the Frosty Mug restaurant, which almost makes it worth it. Cash only, but it's a great burger and milkshake.
Yeah. Well, cash only, sometimes those are the best.
Hands down.
Hideaways.
That's how you know. If you're not sure about the hours and they don't take cards, that's the place.
The hours.
Yeah.
And the review you posted on Instagram for the closest hotel there was like a review that said, "Do not take kids here," or something like, "Just don't come." Or
there were so many great reviews. I had a hard time. I was like, I could just post this whole page, but one of my favorites I didn't post was just one lady that was like, "I was not here." That was it. I was like, this is like her alibi. She was like, I'm probably gonna go to court later, so let me just say, let me put this publicly out here. I was never at this hotel, and that's it. There was no other information. Just like so and so Betty was not here. All right.
Maybe I should just start going online to different places and just post, "I'm not here." And just in case anything ever comes up.
Exactly.
Let's get into our 4 questions, and let's just get into those. We'll do our first one. So with the Southern Thing videos, you have your own Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're going to put all that in the show notes so you can just click on them, go and follow if you don't follow Matt already. How do you know when something's funny enough to share or to make a video of?
I don't.
Oh, is that the secret?
Yeah. I mean, there's some things where you're like, this is kind of in the same lane, like of something I've done before and just a different spin on it. So I feel pretty good about it. There's always these videos that I do that I'll write or something that I'll be like, this is uncharted territory. I'm trying to find, like, is this a relatable element? Like, is it that it's just not, you're always trying to find the connection, the relatability connection between you and a bunch of people, especially, and you want to find the one that hasn't been explored yet. It's always great to find something you're like, hey, does anybody else do this or anybody else experience this as a kid? And then everybody else starts popping up like, yeah, oh yeah, okay, I thought I was the only one. Turns out everybody else did the same thing. So always trying to find that element. And so when you do something that you're not sure about, and you're like, is this just me or is this everybody? That's always risky, because then it's like, all right, if it hits, this is going to do great. Everybody's going to love it. It'll do great numbers. Maybe it'll go viral. If it doesn't hit, people are just going to be like, no, you're just weird, man. You're the only one that's experienced that. So there's some like vulnerability there. And those are always the ones I'm like, I have no idea how this is gonna. I remember a sketch I wrote on It's a Southern Thing. We did a parody of Antique Roadshow about 3 years ago. We led with this picture of these two kids in like overalls walking down a dirt road, and it was like, you been farming much or whatever. This was hanging up in my great grandparents' house in Carbon Hill forever. And then I saw it somewhere else on the internet, and I was like, okay, this was not a unique thing. Maybe a lot of people had this. Wasn't sure. We put it in the video. Turns out not that many people had it. Did not hit like I thought it would. I thought it was like the live, laugh, love sign of the 70s or something for old people. It was not.
I would have thought so too. So
yeah, but there's always things like that you're just like, I'm going to take a gamble. We're going to roll the dice to see if this is relatable to people. Sometimes it hits. Sometimes you fail miserably, but that's part of it. So,
kind of staying with number one, my first question, what do you find funny? What makes you laugh?
Oh, wow. I got a pretty wide range sense of humor. I mean, I like everything from just like the classic Southern humor that you'd get from, especially someone like Jeff Foxworthy's older stuff, and Ron White. And then like new stuff like Danny McBride's, anything that he does is absolutely hilarious. Righteous Gemstones was... the series that he keeps doing for HBO get funnier and funnier somehow, and they're all like, at least at moments based in the South, but they're not hit you over the head Southern. It's just like little things you're like, oh yeah, that's totally us. That's pretty Southern. I ain't gonna think about that. But his stuff always gets me. I don't know. My TikTok feed is extremely random. I will get every range of humor I think on there. One thing I've been enjoying lately is Adventure Time, the cartoon that was on Cartoon Network. I think it may still be around. I don't know. Somehow that escaped me. I think I was probably too old for it when it first came out, but now I'm discovering it. I was like, man, this is good stuff. This is just fun, random humor. It is truly all over the place.
I gotcha. First question, too, is a little bit of that. What elements do you attribute your success to? Is there anything you could point and say, this is why I've had some success?
Oh, wow. It's all just people willing to listen. I mean, it's nothing that I've done. It's all been just people kind enough to stop scrolling through social media for a second and read whatever I wrote or watch a video. I owe a lot to my wife, Lisa, who I will bounce jokes off of. I used to read every single article that I wrote to her before I would send it off to be published. And if I didn't get a single chuckle out of her, I was like, nope, that's good. She was like, it's good. And I was like, not good enough. You didn't laugh at all. So I would just like scrap it or go back through and try to punch it back up. She was... even a lot of the jokes that I still write now on Twitter, that I'll bounce those off like I've always done. But it's a Southern thing. It's a whole team effort. Like it's anything we've put out there. It's Adam. It's Liz, Ryan, Josh, Andrea. We've got a whole team right there of people putting it together. And those bless your ranks that I do that people love. I tell people you wouldn't really love it if they didn't edit it. It'd be an hour of me rambling. They take it and chop it up and do such a great job of making it presentable and something that you can actually sit down and watch without feeling like you're going insane. And do so many, great things to the edit to make parts stand out and layer jokes on top of other jokes to make it great.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I don't edit. So any editing, the editors, the shooters, they make the stuff good. Without it, it's just words. And who wants to read? I don't.
Well, let's segue into a reading question, sort of. Yeah, and the universal Alabama childhood experience, I think for my age, maybe your age as well, was to have read Catherine Tucker Wyndham's 13 Ghosts collection. My next
It's a popular
question,
book at the library. You had to fight to check that one out. It was
did,
always
and
gone.
And you might get lucky and get the 13 Ghosts of Mississippi or something.
Yeah.
But the Alabama one, right? Or the original. So I'll ask you, are ghosts real or no?
I was very excited for this question because I have opinions on this. I don't know if ghosts exist, but I have always, at least in this is another one of those relatable things, and I have thrown it out before, and people are like, no, we don't do that. And I was like, okay, thought this was a southern Appalachian foothills thing. But my family has always been like, if something happens in the house or we're talking about a certain person and we hear a noise or something, we're like, there's grandma, there's so-and-so. Like, I don't know. It may just be a joke, but it's always like in our head that they're listening to us. They're still around. Our ancestors or grandparents, whoever are still around. They can hear us and might do things around the house or whatever just to show their usually displeasure in whatever is happening. Like you didn't cook that the way I cook it, and so the oven was a little too hot for some reason. It's always something random. But that's always been a thing in my house growing up. That's something that it's not something you approach with a lot of reverence, and that you were like, we need to, not having a seance to talk to them.
Right.
If it was like a joking thing, like if something happened or whatever, you're like, that's just grandma doing whatever. But apparently that's not the case for everybody. That's just kind of the culture or whatever that I was raised in. So do I really think that they're messing with things? Maybe. I don't know. But I don't think grandma's haunting me. I just think
No.
I just think maybe she shows up sometimes when I talk bad about, her liver and onions that she loves so much. Yeah, I know. It was. I told her it was gross when she was here, so she knows.
All right. Our last question is our saying, our slogan, what's done up real good? It's the Alabama Takes. We've adopted that. So the floor is open. You tell me, what's done up real good for you of late?
Oh, wow. I have, I said, who wants to read, but I have been trying to read a little bit more. And Sean of the South stuff, now he's an Alabamian again. He's back in Alabama. I really enjoy reading what he puts out there. I've been reading his book, Will the Circle Be Unbroken, which was not his, I think that's like somewhere in the middle of his collection of books he's written. But also his daily posts that he puts out there on his blog are always great to read. He's so great with his words. I wish that I could put my thoughts on paper so eloquently as he does. There is when he writes, it's like it's a beautiful thread. Everything is pieced together. There are no strays coming off. There's no random line that like makes the reader stop and go, where did that come from? It all is so, and he does it every day, which blows my mind. I don't know how the people that write every single day do it. Those are the people that I envy the most, because there are so many days I'm just like, nope. Brain no work good today. Guess exactly. I'm gonna play Animal Crossing or something. Just gonna zone out. So
yeah, and finding the time for it. I would love to write every day. I'm with you. There's that line of reasoning. I'm familiar with his work. I've seen it shared a lot too. And you're right. It's just practice, I guess, is part of it. I'm sure
that absolutely is it. And that takes discipline and. That I don't have, so
I'm with you. Well, our viewers know you, I hope, I bet. I'd be willing to bet a lot of our viewers know you. So what they can do, in case they don't, I will put, let's see, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'll put all the links down at the bottom. They're on the screen as I'm talking. You see them flashing by. And they're also in the YouTube show notes link. And if you're watching this on the Alabama Take, you can click on those little blue hyperlinks as well. Thanks so much to Matt Mitchell for joining us, spending a little time with us today. Really fun to talk to you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was a blast. Thanks for highlighting people in Alabama and the things we make. Always great to have somebody that is a champion for Alabama makers or whatever you want to call.
Yes.
Whatever you want to call the collective that you bring in here.
Yeah, yes, and we love it. That's one of my favorite things about this little show. I do it every summer, and it's just so fun to have people I admire and enjoy, and I really do laugh so much. Especially you're my favorite TikTok follow, for sure. For sure, but I do follow you across the board. But your TikTok videos, man, they hit home. I'm just like, that's me. That's me.
I really appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Check him out, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Will went walking and was blown away. Found his finger by my mama's grave.